The present rules and regulations governing the grant of PhD scholarships are described as I am going to give right now. The scholarship is granted initially for 1 year and can be renewed for a period of up to 5 years, subject to satisfactory progress of the scholar. At present, the scholarship amount is rupees 25,000. Now, 25,000 per month for the first 2 years and rupees 28,000 per month for the next 3 years of the PhD course, after a review of the work at the end of the 2 years. The PhD scholarship also carries a contingency grant of rupees 32,000 per year. If the institution does not provide a hostel or subsidized accommodation, the PhD scholar is eligible for house rent allowance, which is the HRA, as per the government norms, rules and regulations, on the basis of a certificate from the institution and a receipt about the actual rent being paid by the scholar. Now coming to the rules and regulations governing the NBHM PhD scholarships. The scholarship is tenable during coursework at the specified institutions and during the period when the scholar works for his or her PhD degree at any Indian university or research institution other than DAE aided institutes, where the necessary facilities exist for undertaking research work in an approved subject chosen by the research scholar. The scholarship is tenable for 1 year once the scholar starts on his or her work for the PhD degree. It is extendable up to a total period of 5 years, not including the special training period of 1 year if availed. For pursuing the PhD degree in a university or research institution not with the DAE that I mentioned. The extension for subsequent years beyond the first year is subject to satisfactory progress to be assessed each and every year by the university department or institution concerned. Extension for a 5th year after the start of the PhD program is given on the basis of a review of the scholar's work by NBHM itself. The research scholar is entitled to leave facilities as per the rules of the institution to which he or she is attached. However, long leave without stipend will not be allowed. If the scholar is not provided hostel or subsidized accommodation by the institution, house rent allowance, which is the HRA, will be paid as per the government. The contingency grant can be utilized for the following that I am going to discuss. Purchase of stationery and books. Books purchased by the scholar from the contingency grant are allowed to be retained by him or her and without any confusion. Library work, travel inside the country for attending conference or lectures, etc. Towards payment for computer time, any other purposes specifically authorized by this department for the successful completion of the PhD program. The unutilized part of the contingency grant is allowed to be carried forward to the next year. Take a note of this. No reimbursement can be claimed from the contingency grant for purchasing furniture and office equipment for such purposes. Obligations of host university or research institution where you are doing your PhD. The host university or research institution should furnish the following information that I'm going to discuss. A certificate that the research scholar has joined the institution for undertaking research work in an approved subject chosen by him or her, along with a copy of his or her joining report indicating the actual date of the joining, the exact date of joining. Secondly, a certificate that all the necessary facilities for undertaking research work in an approved subject as chosen by the research scholar will be provided by the institution. If the university or the institution has not provided subsidized or hostel accommodation, and if the research scholar has made his or her own arrangement for his or her accommodation, then a certificate to that effect has to be given. The institution will receive the scholarship amount from the Department of Atomic Energy, that is the DAE, and make monthly payment to the scholar in the prescribed manner that I mentioned. The institution should undertake to keep subsidiary accounts and furnish a utilization certificate and statement of accounts along with refund for the amount received by them from time to time. The refund should be by check or demand draft drawn in favor of Pay and Accounts Officer DAE. An annual report of the work done along with the utilization certificate and statement of accounts duly signed by the guide and head of the institution with a suitable recommendation of the further grant, if any, will be submitted to the DAE through the member secretary. NBHM, first floor, Anushakti Bhavan, CSM Mark, Mumbai 400001. In case the research scholar is called upon to assist the institution in its teaching program, the workload should not exceed 4 hours of teaching per week at the postgraduate level or 6 hours of teaching per week at the undergraduate level. Obligations of research scholars. The research scholar must be a full-time researcher and submit himself or herself to the disciplinary regulations of the university or the institution where he or she works. He must be regular in attending to the departmental duties assigned to him or her. The department must ensure regular attendance of the scholar by keeping an attendance register. In case a scholar decides to appear for a competitive examination, then he or she should invariably seek permission from the guide and inform DAE about it. The research scholar is not to take any assignment other than related to his or her approved research program, paid or unpaid in any case. He or she taking up any paid assignment at any time in the course of the scholarship may lead to the scholar being asked to pay back the entire fellowship amount in addition to disciplinary action. Any kind of paid or honorary part or full-time employment or private practice, even in honorary capacity, is not permissible during the entire tenure of the PhD scholarship. The research scholar shall submit to DAE an annual report on the progress of his or her work through his or her guide. The annual progress report, complete in all respects, must be sent to the member secretary within 15 days of the completion of each year. Years are to be counted from the date of joining. Once a person accepts a research scholarship, he or she is expected to continue the research from the normal tenure of the fellowship or for such lesser duration in which the original objectives of the research problem have been achieved. No scholar shall discontinue his or her PhD scholarship without any prior approval to DAE. In case he or she wishes to discontinue the scholarship prior to the completion of the tenure, then he or she must submit the resignation to DAE through the guide 1 month in advance, indicating specific and proper reasons for not continuing the scholarship. The scholarship shall cease from the date stipulated in the DAE letter approving the resignation. Abrupt discontinuance of the fellowship without concurrence of DAE may lead to disciplinary action. The research scholar must send a detailed consolidated report of the research work done during the entire period of the fellowship of the PhD on completion of the tenure or resignation of the scholarship through the guide to DAE. During the tenure of the scholarship, the scholar shall correspond with DAE or NBHM only through the guide or head of the institution. The research scholar shall keep DAE informed about his or her getting any higher degree or acceptance or publication of any research paper arising out of the research work done during the tenure of the fellowship. He or she must acknowledge the support of DAE, Government of India, in the publications. One copy of each research paper published must be sent to DAE at each stage of publication, manuscript or reprint. The research scholar are expected to acknowledge the support received from the Department of Atomic Energy, which is DAE, in all their publications and in their PhD theses. In case the scholar is required to undergo pre-PhD training like MPhil before registering for PhD degree, the scholarship may become operative from the date of enrollment for the pre-PhD program that he or she is undertaking. However, the scholarship for the second year will be given only if the scholar has got NBHM scholarship. Now talking of the NBHM zones, the NBHM exam is conducted in 5 zones across the nation. Each zone has 4 to 5 exam centers. Candidates who belong to a particular zone get to appear in the centers for examination and interview round of that zone itself. These zones are divided geographically: north, south, east and west. These are the centers. The list that I am going to give in is the zone-wise segregation of exam centers. Talking about the zone 1, Chandigarh, New Delhi, Srinagar, this is the north zone. The second zone, which is the zone 2, comprises Indore, Jabalpur, Prayagraj, Raipur, which is the central zone. Third zone, Goa, Mumbai, Pune, Vallabh Vidyanagar, which is the west zone. Zone 4, Bhubaneswar, Guwahati, Kolkata, Ranchi, Shillong, which is the east zone. Zone 5, Bangalore, Chennai, Cochin, Hyderabad, which is the south zone. So I have given you all the information related to NBHM PhD. I hope you have liked the video. There is enough information provided. So all the best for your career, and hope you have liked the video. Thank you.